Episode 22. Do you know someone who would be a great guest on the Telltale Fisherman? If so, go to tell.fish/guest and recommend them for the show. We won't bug them. We'll just give them the chance to share the story of their lifetime and become a fishing legend. Visit tell.fish/guest.
Welcome to the Telltale Fisherman podcast, where avid anglers share the story of their best fishing day ever to inspire yours. Now it's time for another epic adventure. So here's your host, John Woodson.
All right, welcome to the show. Today's guest is Zach Vann from Hatteras Island, North Carolina. Zach, welcome aboard.
How are you doing, man?
Oh, doing good. It's great to have you here today. And you work with Wasabi Sportfishing Charters. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, we're going to have some really cool fishing to talk about with all that you do there out on that charter boat, I'm sure. But before we get to that, just tell me a little bit about yourself and, how you got started fishing.
Well, as a kid, I was always around hunting and fishing. That's just kind of how we grew up. My dad taking me as a young kid, catching bluegills, just little balls of bait and throwing that out and getting going and just learning the way of the land and trying to live off of the land.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we grew up.
Was that all in North Carolina?
No, actually, I grew up in Suffolk, Virginia.
Oh, okay.
In Dryer.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of grew up in the Dismal Swamp. I was an old swamp rat running around in the woods.
Yeah.
But we always, tried to go charter fishing, and we never could. And I'd beg my dad, "Man, take me down the dock so I can see the fish. I want to see the fish, Dad. Come on, take me down there." And he'd take me down there, and we'd check the fish out, but we never really could afford to go. So it's something that was always like lacking. That's what I wanted to do. I just was leaning towards it. And finally, when I graduated high school, I moved down here to Hatteras Island, and I started building surfboards with a guy. It's like kind of my first job I got, so I learned the fiberglass work, and it all plays in the boats and everything like that. I just started hanging around and like washing boats and showing up at the dock, even though if I wasn't even working on a boat, I'd show up and just try and get a trip, try and go and go and go. And finally, I had a guy offer me a job on a full-time rig a few years ago. It was called the Sea Bear. And I started working with him, and we did really good. And we actually ended up getting rid of that boat, and I got a job with the Wasabi. Mm-hmm. He came over, and he just asked me, he said, I've been watching you, I see you got the drive, and you want to do it. And I see you have the passion for it. So he offered me a job with him, and he's like one of the best fishermen down here as far as it goes with captains and producing fish.
Yeah.
For the people, and actually making sure they go home with fish no matter what. Even if it's a slow day, we're going to have some type of fish in that box for you, bottom fish, anything.
I was just going to ask, so tell me what it was like the first couple of times you went out as a mate on a boat. Is it like you see on some of these TV shows like Deadliest Catch where the captain is screaming bloody murder at you and it's real intense pressure?
Yeah. And then being in this business, there's just everyone does it different. So everyone's different when you go out. It's guys just get so fired up, they're just screaming and hollering, and you're running around in circles because you don't know what to do because you're getting screamed at. Because you can't understand what he's saying. Yeah. And then guys that are real, all right, he's on your right teaser. All right, get your stink bait, pop out of the cut, put it in front of him. He's telling you, pushing you to try and make you better. So it's like you see all different worlds, and that's what makes this business hard. It's the guys that want to do it, and they just get in with the wrong captains too early, then they can't handle it because they don't know the game yet.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's definitely nerve-wracking and hard. You're out there to work at the same time, but you're having a good time doing it. It's fun.
Right.
You're working. You're not hanging out on the boat. You're doing your job. So that's what people expect
Oh,
from
yeah.
you, you know, and then that's why they pay the money to go fishing with us. They want to catch a lot of fish.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I've been on a few charters myself, and am always both thankful for all the work the mate does, and amazed at the hard work that they put in to make it all work out. There's a lot that goes into a successful day of fishing out there on the ocean.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a lot of work. You can make some good money at it, but if you went off hours in this business, then you'd be like, I ain't doing that. You know, for as far as many hours you put into it. But it's a way of life, you know, and I wouldn't want to do anything else. When I wake up at 4:00 in the morning to head to the boat, I don't feel like I'm going to work. I feel like I'm going fishing. You know, that's what I'm going to have a good time.
That's awesome. Let's just talk a little bit about the species you have in your fishery there. You know, tell us the kind of stuff you guys fish for, and you know, in the different seasons of the year. And
yeah, well, first of all, you know, it's the Hatteras Island NC World Blue Marlin Cap. So we have a very good fishery for billfish all up and down the East Coast from Virginia Beach to Hatteras, North Carolina. And in between there is some of the best bill fishing you can get. But on top of that, we get May and June. Those are two of the best months for gaffer dolphin, big mahis and good size class. You know, from 15 pounds and up. That time of year, they're all big fish,
right?
And you have a chance of catching a limit, 60 dolphin. You know, that's how good our fishery is on the dolphin down here. And then
wow.
You know, you got your wahoo, scattered wahoo bite all through that time too. And then you got your bottom fish, your triggers, sea bass, your groupers, snowies, the yellowtails, golden tiles, gray tiles, vermilion snappers, or pretty much anything you can think of, you know, African pompano. And if you like jig and jacks, we got some of the best, you know, amberjack fishing around on our wrecks, because we have so many wrecks around here. It's the graveyard of the Atlantic. You know, it's a really good fishery. I mean, for pretty much anything, you can get on the boat down here and say, I want to target this, you know, and you kind of can. It's because we're so far out in the Gulf anyways. You know, hour ride, you're fishing. We're going fishing in the Gulf Stream.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, how far out are you from? Because the Gulf Stream kind of comes back in there towards you a little bit, doesn't it?
It swoops back in towards us, and this time of year, like right now, the Gulf Stream's so blown out that it's on the beach. You know, you get the other day we had a limit of dolphin, 60 dolphin, and we caught it right at the end of the day, and we were 8 miles from the beach.
Boy, that's a nice luxury. But did you run way out past and you caught them on the way back in?
We had gone wahoo fishing for the day, and we had caught a few wahoos and jigged some jacks, and it was a little slow day, and we were coming in and just trolling in, trying to make up some ground, and here they come, jumping into the spread. I said, Kitty, here they are. They're coming in. And then we ended up finding the bucket and just sat there and bailed our limit and went in.
How cool is that? So what are the depths you're fishing? I mean, like when you go out for the bills, how far out, how deep are you fishing?
We'll usually start somewhere. If we're going just bill fishing for the day, you know, the guys get on and say, we don't want any meat, we want to go bill fishing. So, all right. We'll usually start somewhere around 80 fathoms. You know, start a little shallow, maybe try and catch your white in your sail, get a shot at those, and then work off towards the deep, and you stay over 100 fathoms usually when you're really looking for a blue marlin or even a white marlin. They hang out there in the deep also. But your sails, you'll get. I mean, that's why this time of year is our sail. You see sails almost every day. You'll see a pack of sails at least once a day, or have at least one in your spread this time of year a day while you're wahoo fishing, and that's anywhere from 35 to 45 fathoms. You stay, and even shallower, sometimes the wahoos would be up in the skinnies, like I was saying, the water, the good water will push in all the way into the beach. So, you know, you'll be in 15 fathoms, you just caught a 60-pound wahoo, you know, because that's where they're at. That's where the bait's at. That's where they want to be.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty epic fishery you got going up there.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, if I got 40 rods on that boat. I'm probably going to use every single one of them in one day of fishing.
All right, when we get back, Zach is going to share an epic offshore fishing story with us. Stay tuned. An anchor stick for kayaks and small boats is a great asset to have on board when you want to stop and fish an area, or when you want to get out and wade. When the wind is honking and you are fishing over hard bottom in your kayak, canoe, or other small boat, a great anchor pole that can keep you planted is a must. Check out the one we like at tell.fish/gear in your web browser. All right, we are back with Zach Vann with Wasabi Sportfishing Charters out of Hatteras Island, North Carolina. And the first half of the show, he was telling us about some of the epic fishing they do up there. So I can only imagine what one of your most epic days is going to be like. Kind of set the stage for us and tell us what was going on.
All right. Well, we started out the day. It was June. I can't remember the exact date. I'm thinking it was either the 6th or the 8th. I can't remember for sure, but
that was this year, 2017?
Yes, sir. It was this year.
Okay.
This year was one of the best blue marlin bites that we've had probably in the last 10 years. There's blue marlins being seen and caught every day. We went out, caught our limit of dolphin by 7:30. We were done. Guys said, all right, I got one wish. I want to catch a blue marlin. I've been trying for 15 years. I said, all right, we can do that. We'll go out there and try it. We get out there, we're trolling around, and it was actually the first day of the Big Rock tournament. We weren't in it. We had a charter, but it was the first day of the Big Rock.
So he didn't charter you for the tournament. This
was
just a
regular old charter.
Okay, gotcha.
And we're riding along, and here he comes, right up on the right teaser. Right teaser. And I just checked my bait, my right short. Had it in my hand. I look over. Oh, there he is. I drop the bait right in the water, put it in free spool. He comes off the teaser. Kenny pulls it away from him. My bait goes right in his mouth, and he eats it. And I give him 5 seconds. Boom! Slam it in the gear. Got him off. So we're fighting that fish to clear all our bait. Fighting him. And we get him up close, and he starts going down deep. I'm like, oh, man, he's freaking going to die on him. Usually when they go down deep like that, they end up getting tail wrapped or something happens, and then they just sometimes they'll come up dead.
Yeah.
Well, this fish, it finally comes up, and I get the leader, caught fish, I pull him up. And he's still alive, but something happened to him down there. Like, he did get tail wrapped and ended up coming undone. So I just kind of drug him for a while, and we wasted a lot of time reviving him, getting him back to life. And we ended up getting him back to life, and I let him go, and he swam right down. Like, nothing was wrong with him. So we were like, all right, cool.
Good,
I said, let's get our baits back out, and let's try this again. And we get everything back out, and it's all looking good. And my captain, that's why it's such a crazy story. He goes, look, man, he's like, you got to drive the boat for a second. I really got to use the bathroom. I'm like, okay. So I climb up there and drive along. I'm talking to the customer, 2 of them up there. I said, watch this while he's down there pooping. I said, we're going to catch this 500-pounder. Just joking, and we're riding along. I see this little slick spot off to the way, and I'm going to ride over to that. And the whole fleet was off to my left. I'm going to get away from them.
And they're all tournament fishing, right?
Yeah, they're all tournament fishing.
Yeah,
I mean, there's 100 boats out there, blue marlin fishing. So we're riding along, and I see that slick, and I start moseying off to it, not real fast. I didn't want anyone to see me just make a hard right turn. So I kind of went over to it, got over to that slick, and my right teaser goes, and I'm like, holy crap. And I run over to it. And the customer that just caught the blue marlin said he wanted to catch one. He ain't caught one and tried for 15 years. I said, reel that bait up right to that right teaser. I said, he'll eat it. I'm holding on to the teaser so you don't rip my rigger off the boat. And he reels it up right to the right teaser, and the fish comes up, start pulling the teaser away. Fish comes right off the teaser and just Rodneys himself. Eats it. Takes off, jumping. And I'm like, oh, sweet, we got another one on. And by this time, Kenny done made it out of the bathroom because we heard all the commotion and me yelling.
Good thing, huh?
And he comes running out there, and he flies up the ladder. I fly down the ladder, start clearing all my stuff, and Kenny goes, oh, my God. I said, what? I said, what'd you run over? He said, nothing. look at the left teaser. I look at the left teaser, and there's a 500-pounder eating it. I said,
Oh my gosh.
I threw Pinky, right, that's left short, Hatteras Island, Pinky. Pinky Express, the hot bait. And I threw it out, put it right beside the teaser, boom, she eats it, takes off jumping. So we got double-header blue marlins on right now.
Oh my gosh. So how big was the first one that you hooked?
The first one was probably about a 250, 300-pounder. He was a small male. That's what I was thinking he was. And she was a big female, she came up after he ate and was like, I'm going to eat too. And she started eating that teaser, and I hooked her. She goes jumping off. Just jumping my 80 wide. I can't even stop her. I got some heat on her too. And he's over there going the other way jumping. And Kenny goes, holy crap, Zach. And I said, what? He goes, look at both the teasers. I look back at the right teaser, there's another 300-pounder eating that teaser. And I look back over at the left teaser, and there's another 300-pounder eating that teaser. And I grabbed dink baits, and I start firing them out. They didn't want nothing to do with my dink baits. They wouldn't come off those teasers. We didn't hook those. Finally, Kenny puts the boat in a hard circle. He starts cranking his stuff up. Needless to say, both of these other blue marlins are still off jumping. And we're running out of line on these reels.
Are they? So are they?
But Kenny, we're running out of line.
Are they going in opposite directions, or what are they doing?
Yeah, the one's going one way and one's going the other way, and he's putting the boat in a hard corner. And I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna lose both of them. And I'm down there freaking out because I'm looking at him going like, what do I do now? There's freaking 4 blue marlins back here, and we got 2 of them on. And he's like, just keep hooking them, just keep hooking them. And I'm trying to hook them, and then finally they go off. We can't see them anymore. So he starts settling in on our other stuff, and he gets all his long riggers in and stuff. And we get all them in the boat. And the big one, she just would never settle down, and we ended up jumping her off.
Okay.
We lost her midway through the fight. I got the leader back. I don't even think if we'd have held the hook any longer, we would have held her because she tore that leader up so bad.
Wow.
But we did end up catching the other one. We caught the other one. So we caught 2 blue marlins and a limit of gaffer dolphins by 12:30. And we seen 7 fish that day.
You had 4 blue marlin all biting, either hooked up or biting baits at the same time.
At the same
Holy
time.
Crap.
Yeah, it was.
Holy crap.
That's like
wow.
That's what you said. It's the one story. I got a lot of them, I could tell you, but that's the one that pops in my head, right away.
Oh, no doubt.
I've never I've seen 1 and 2. I've seen 2 before, but I've never seen 4. And the days before that, we didn't get lucky and hook any, but we had already seen, the day before that, we seen 10 fish. We hooked 1, and we ended up busting them off, and then the day before that, we seen 5 fish. And just sometimes they just don't want to eat. They're not ready to eat. They just want to come check your spread out, and they don't want to eat nothing. But we had 4 hungry blue marlins back there at one time, and ended up getting a hook in both 2 of them, and had a shot at 2 more.
Oh man, and you know what is the cherry on top of that story is that you had 100 other boats right there near you who would have killed to have those fish on that you did, and you weren't even fishing the tournament.
I know. We had the first fish of the day, which is about, I think it's somewhere around $50,000 to catch the first fish of the big rock.
Oh, wow.
And then I think we had the overall, which was 2 fish.
Oh,
so that's another 50. So that was like $100,000 right there if we were in the tournament.
So you could tell all those guys back at the dock, shoot, we blew you guys away and we weren't even trying.
Yeah. Oh, we were trying, but we try hard.
Oh yeah.
I've never worked with anybody. This Captain Kenny Coachy, he's like I said, he's one of the best around, and he's taught me a lot and how to compose myself to make it happen. So you can fulfill those people's goals. That's why they pay that money. They pay that money so they can have an opportunity to catch a fish of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And I have a picture, that we can share of me and that guy. I was holding a fish by the bill, and he's leaning over touching it. He told me, he said, all I ever want to do is touch a blue marlin.
Oh, man.
And he got it done.
Yeah. So. Oh, yeah. We got to share that picture. That's pretty awesome. So, well, Zach, man, that is a heck of a story, and I really appreciate you being on here today with us to share it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, no problem at all. Anytime.
Be sure to check us out on Instagram, where you can scroll back through our prior posts to see the spectacular catches that our amazing guests are hauling in. And be sure to hit the follow button so you don't miss the new catches that are right around the corner. Our handle is @TelltaleFisherman.
This has been the Telltale Fisherman Podcast. Thanks for sharing another great tale with us. Be sure to check out the show notes page for more info on today's show and the gear we talked about. Keep those lines tight, and we'll catch you next time right here on the Telltale Fisherman Podcast.